EET 105, Chapter 2, Problem 27, Ampere Hour Rating. What is the amp hour rating of a battery that can provide 0.8 amps for 75 hours? So you're given the current I equals 0.8 amps, the time T equals 75 hours. You need to find the amp hour rating, AH rating, so Q equals IT, which is the same formula we've been using. So amp hours just equals amps times hours. So you're given amps of 0.8, 75 hours, multiply them together, you get 60 amp hours. And another amp hour problem. What is number 31? What is the percentage loss in ampere hour rating from room temperature to freezing for an Energizer D cell of figure 2.26? So here's the figure here. As it happens, they give you exactly this is the curve that it follows based upon temperature. So there's a sweet spot up about room temperature, and that's by design, of the most amount of ampere hours you can get out of a battery. At 68 degrees Fahrenheit, which is room temperature, you get 18 amp hours. And at the freezing temperature, about 32 Fahrenheit, you get 15.5 amp hours. So the percentage loss formula equals the absolute value of the initial value minus the final value, all divided by the initial value times 100%. So they're saying to go from room temperature to freezing. So you take the amp hours at room temperature would be 18 minus the amp hours at freezing temperature would be 15.5 divided by the initial value 18, multiply times 100%, and you get 13.89%. Now, this curve is interesting because I don't know, maybe you heard from your parents or somebody that if you put batteries in the fridge, they last longer. Well, the reason why they last longer is because they're less efficient at a lower temperature. Namely, there is something called leakage current. When a battery's just sitting there, even though you're not using it and you're not connecting it to a load, there is a certain amount of leakage current. The leakage is going to be less at a lower temperature. It's going to slow it down a little bit. I don't know about putting a battery in the freezer, which would be down in this area. I've never done it. I don't know if it would damage the battery or not, but I do keep my batteries in the refrigerator, and that keeps them in this range. I would say we're under 40, but probably above 32 degrees, and they do seem to last longer in the fridge.